defenses.
It is Unsportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80, and the ESPN app. I'm Michelle Smallman alongside Victoria Arlen and Courtney Cronin. And it's summertime, ladies, which means we are gearing up for the NFL season. And what better way to hype us up by doing some lists? We're ranking some stuff here on Unsportsmanlike. And today on our ESPN Radio Rankum series, Courtney Cronin is going to give us her list of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. CC? Yes, you are CC. Well,
I love that I can claim that title for at least another 3 hours before he's back on Monday's show.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do my best CC impersonation here and give you some hot takes that a year from now we can play and be like, wow, those were great takes, Courtney. Those were so good. You got it right. You got the list right of the 5 best defenses in the NFL. So I'm gonna start here.
Number 5.
We just were talking about Kansas City. And I know that Patrick Mahomes in this offense always seems to get the praise and all the accolades, but this defense and what Spags has at his disposal is the reason why it's one of the best in the NFL. So you got Chris Jones, who can wreck the game from all over, and there's a reason why they signed him when they did. He was such an important, pivotal piece to that pass rush to get him under contract long term. But then you also have Trent McDuffie, who's an elite defender in his own right, inside, outside corner. He can play all over the secondary. Nick Bolton just became one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL. Leo Chenal is incredible too, as he's an enforcer, especially against the run. They did lose a couple weapons, Justin Reed, Tershawn Wharton in free agency. But they signed Christian Fulton, who, is done a lot in the NFL so far. He's battle tested as an outside corner. And I think that's going to help Trent McDuffie. They're going to allow him to get kicked inside into the slot, play a little bit more nickel corner. And the last time he did that, his first season doing that, he earned All-Pro honors in 2023. I don't think that they have any drop-off from a year ago. Obviously, the showing in the Super Bowl was not great for them, but this is still one of the best units in the NFL. You
mentioned the names on the personnel there, Courtney, and sometimes when we predict things in sports, there's things that we rely on where we say, like with Patrick Mahomes, you're always going to give that guy the benefit of the doubt. There's few people in sports that I give the benefit of the doubt to more than Steve Spagnuolo. He is one of the best coordinators that we've seen in the NFL in this time. He's amazing, and you know that he's always going to have this defense schemed up and ready to go. So I love that the Chiefs are on this list.
And I think people forget, too, that everyone, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, but people forget that the Chiefs have been fueled largely by their defense. Yep. And they ranked second in 2023 and sixth in 2024 in defensive points allowed. They are a unit. And yes, as you said, the Super Bowl wasn't their best showing. But over the course of time, they are a unit that is something that you really can't stop.
All right. So I got the Chiefs at 5. Next.
Number 4.
The Houston Texans have the best duo of edge rushers in the NFL. Tell me I'm wrong. Between Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, there is a reason they prioritize the pass rush when DeMeco Ryans took that job. And it's worked so far. They've one of the best passing offenses in the NFL at getting passing defenses in the NFL at getting after the quarterback. And their run defense was just above average last year. I think they take another step this season for a number of different reasons. So, on the back end of this defense, you've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who comes down there as well. You've got Jalen Petrie. Derek Stingley. We talk a lot about Pat Surtain, and I'm a little tease here. You're going to hear from him or about him in a minute.
Ooh.
But Derek Stingley is one of the best corners in the NFL. He's leveled his game up. The secondary has been the strength of this team. From top to bottom, front to all the way to the back end of this defense, this is one of the better defenses in the AFC. So I've got the Chiefs, I've got the Houston Texans, and I wouldn't be surprised if these two teams are playing each other in the AFC Championship game in a couple months.
That's interesting.
That got saucy.
The Texans in the AFC Championship game. I saw how you just weave that in there, Courtney. Love that.
Thank you.
That was a saucy take. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I think, too, they also have Will Anderson Jr., which I think really helps. And the fact of the matter is, the Texans were a sneaky team last year that were slowly chipping away at an ice sculpture. I don't know if that's how you chip at an ice sculpture. I'm not chip out an ice sculpture. Regardless, I feel like they're a sneaky team, though. With what Courtney just said, I wouldn't be shocked by that, given where they were heading to.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryan's defensive-minded guy. I think they were 15th in defensive points allowed the past 2 seasons. D'Amico Ryan's first 2 seasons as the head coach of the Houston Texans. I'm with you, Courtney. I think they take a step forward this year.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 AFC teams, and now it's time to go to the NFC.
Ooh.
Number 3.
Some might say the Philadelphia Eagles are a little low on my list, but
yeah.
I'm looking at the subtractions that they had. They couldn't keep everybody after the Super Bowl run. That's what happens with these teams. They lose Jarius Slay. They lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They lose Josh Sweat, who had 2.5 sacks in that Super Bowl game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Brandon Graham, Milton Williams. There's some pieces that you're used to seeing in Philadelphia that you won't see this year. But they still have Jalen Carter, the 9th overall pick from a couple years ago, who is an absolute game wrecker. Just ask Matthew Stafford. The reason that the Rams weren't able to go on into the next round of the playoffs is because of Carter wreaking havoc up the middle. There's Jordan Davis, another nose tackle. They've got their pass rush is inside out. Everything for them starts on the interior. It allows them to build from the outside. Zach Bond is one of the better stories in the NFL. Left for dead in New Orleans, goes and resurrects his career, signs a 3-year, $51 million extension. Nakobe Dean has been injured on and off. He's probably starting on PUP. But their linebacking core, they add Jihad Campbell in the offseason. I think they're going to be okay from that standpoint. And we know the cornerbacks in their secondary, from Quinyon Mitchell to Cooper DeJean, both who burst on the scene as rookies last year. If that's how good it looked in 2024 with 2 rookies starting in that secondary, I think it's going to look even better this year.
Yeah, and now those guys not only have seasoning, they have championship seasoning.
Yeah.
They go on a run, they know how to win, so you expect them to take that step forward, even though they were incredibly productive last year. And you're right, Courtney. A lot of people might think that the Eagles and how formidable they were on the defense side of the ball last year, that they're too low on this list, but there were some subtractions. You went through the list. But one of the things that I love getting to do this job is hearing other athletes, former athletes, talk about current players.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I first saw Aaron Donald at Rams camp when he was drafted, and my co-host at the time, DeMarco Farr, who won a Super Bowl with the Rams, when he first laid eyes on Aaron Donald, his jaw was on the floor. And he was like, that is the most impressive player I've ever seen.
Wow.
To sit here next to Chris Canty and watch Jalen Carter, and watch him describe Jalen Carter, he's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
And so Jalen Carter alone puts the Eagles on this list, not to mention the other pieces.
I think also it helps too, they were young last year and look how that paid off. And I think that's where they got better as the season went on, and it paid off in dividends, winning a Super Bowl. So I feel like they have a good track record of seasoning, as you said, young guys to become better. And also too, I think based on projected lineups, their average age for their defense is going to be 27 and a half. So, hey, season the young guys. Start them young-ish.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think that this is a defense that has shown it can retool every single year. They just go draft all the Georgia players.
That's
right.
much, yeah.
Go take all the guys from the national championship teams and put them on your team, then you go win a Super Bowl with them.
Seems to work out. Yeah.
Yes, it does. All right, moving on.
Number 2.
Baltimore has a great run defense. Their passing defense was an abject failure last year. I think they got better there for a number of different reasons. So remember, Jair Alexander and the Green Bay Packers seemed like a mutual parting of ways. It just didn't work out there after he got the big contract. So now he's on the Baltimore Ravens. You've got Malachi Starks, who feels like a perfect fit in the secondary at free safety. I think their pass defense is going to take a significant step forward this year. Zach Orr showed he was a first-year defensive coordinator last year, former player in the NFL. I believe he was their outside linebackers coach. It wasn't a great debut, but nothing was great for the Ravens in the first month of the season when we were all wondering, can this team actually make the postseason after losing their first 2 games? But there's something he did at the mid-season part last year that kind of flipped the script on everybody. And when you see the numbers, so they go from week 9 all the way through week 18. First in scoring defense, second in total defense, passer rating against, and third in opponent's third down percentage. There were some personnel tweaks that the coach